We're here at the shop. Here, the thing that's weird about Ohio this time of year is the weather.
We went from 17 degrees and -3 to -17. Today is 53 degrees, but we only
56.
have 56
56
degrees.
now. Yeah, it's almost 60 degrees outside.
But it's only going to be that way for about, what, 3 hours? And bad stuff is coming in any minute. And we don't have the opportunity to fly many airplanes like this during the winter.
Yeah, and shout out to Bob. Bob's our man. He set this up.
Yeah.
These things have been sitting around our shop for about a month now.
We chose the Stearman for a couple different reasons here. Number one, it's meant to fly off the grass. And what we really liked about this, because we don't have the smoothest backyard, we actually have shock absorbers on this. They're a little bit stiff, but it's still a really cool feature. The landing gear is really beefy.
They definitely add to the form factor.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how functional they are. They do go up and down.
No.
But also it's got all kinds of scale detail from the radial engine. You have the air intake there. Paint scheme's beautiful. I mean, overall, it's probably one of the best Stearman I've seen so far.
Oftentimes when I take the plane to the field and I forget the screws back at my shop, I'm a little frustrated because you can't fly. This takes care of this problem. It has like a pin that will roll into it. So the wings will actually push on, the pins roll. I really noticed Horizon's putting a lot of effort to make things where you don't need tools to get ahead and assemble the airplanes. The only downside, sometimes it's a little difficult to line them up. And also with the pins up here, which is really ingenious to lock these in the top, it takes a little bit of pressure to kind of find the hole to guide it through.
Basically, these struts here, they go up into the thing, and then this pin right here, it actually pushes through and holds them in.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you not only get it in there, give it a little tug too. Make sure you check it because it's easy to miss those holes.
It may slide through and you think you have it, but then all of a sudden you pick up the wing and it's floppy. We actually went ahead and just bound this real quick. We're going to put the battery in and we're going to give it a maiden.
And by the way, the battery's right here. It's a 3-cell 2200, but it's a go-to staple size battery.
I completely forgot about this. I got to show you this. This is cool. I was a little frustrated early on about like trying to get this battery in and get it in this proper spot. They thought this out really well. They put it on a sled. So basically you can just fasten this down nice and tight where you want it. And we can actually slide that right in.
Does it just click?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's really useful when you have a plane that has features like flaps and stuff like that. Horizon will give you exact directions on how to bind it to a Spectrum, gives you slow timing on your flaps and how to set it up properly.
Okay, here's my only criticism. If you're gonna put a pilot in here, what pilots fly an airplane like this and don't smile? You know what I mean?
Let me see.
Like they all look so serious, like they're going into war.
Oh, what's wrong, buddy?
Yeah.
That's okay. We should 3D print your face and send it to Horizon.
Do the Pete and Pull face on that. That's what pilots' faces need to look like when they're flying a plane like this.
I don't have my sunglasses. I have my fun glasses.
All right, let's play some bets here. I'm thinking 5 feet.
5 feet takeoff?
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Good luck, man. Oh, that thing is beautiful in the air.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Looks like a real Stearman.
Look how smooth it's flying.
And even with all the wind. And I've noticed recently they've really been paying attention to tolerances on the landing gear. So when you hit the ground, it kind of flexes a little bit like a real plane.
Yeah.
And it makes touch and goes and landings a lot more gratifying in my opinion. All right, so this thing is about a 45-inch wingspan, which is honestly perfect. That's like my sweet spot personally. Under 50 inches, give or take. I have a Honda Civic. I can fit it in the back of my car.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about taking the wings off.
So what I'm really impressed with here is I thought it was going to be a real difficult plane to fly. It's not even in this wind. I'm not barely touching the rudder.
Really? Just banking and yanking?
Yeah. Now I'm going to keep my speed up here. We'll see how it takes off.
Dude, this reminds me of when we were flying the Valiant in the wind. Hopefully it ends better than that. Nice! Yeah! That was a beautiful 3-point landing. You got that sink right there at the end.
It's awesome!
It was just like,
okay. So some morals of the story, whenever you're flying, keep in mind, especially with the Stearman, it's a high lift airfoil, okay?
Yes.
So when you point it in the wind, you may be going 5 miles an hour forward ground speed, but the wing thinks it's doing about 55. You know,
it wants to keep flying.
Well, on top of that too, with the high lift airfoil, it wants to climb a lot. Yeah. So the AS3X is gonna help you a little bit with that, but the airplane inherently is gonna wanna behave like a scale airplane too. So keep in mind when you turn downwind, you're losing lift because you're going with the wind.
Yeah.
So you gotta carry a little more throttle. And also when you're going into the wind, don't try to flare real high, keep that throttle on, bring it in under power, and then bleed your speed just above the ground.
Exactly,
That keeps you from having that nasty little plot right down the ground.
yeah, when you turn downwind, man, that thing is like a rocket ship.
And then it just
went
stops
down there.
dead. So
I'll go grab it.
All right, if you're new and you're getting in the hobby and you're flying in the windy weather, don't play with your playground downwind. Always keep the plane into the wind in front of you and don't fly it behind you. So Alex, your turn.
Oh, geez,
It's a great plane to fly.
I believe it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, for one reason or another, they think we're pros. We're not. I get nervous every time I fly a new plane, even when it's not windy. So today is like 20-mile-an-hour wind, so we'll see how it goes. So, I'm gonna slowly.
Yeah, you break that tension of the ground. Yeah, eventless, huh?
Yeah.
I think honestly could just use a little bit more nose weight.
Yeah.
If you guys have a bigger battery, maybe a 3000 milliamp, especially flying in the wind, I tend to like to have my planes a little bit more nose heavy anyway, because it kind of does it through the air. So one quick tip to tell if you're nose heavy or not, or tail heavy or not, when you roll the airplane upside down and the nose actually raises while you're upside down, usually that's an indicator that maybe slightly tail heavy. But you want to do that in calm weather with everything trimmed out properly.
Dude, what do you say? Do you want to try to put some nose weight in it?
You know, in this wind, let's do that. Go ahead and bring it in for a landing. I'm going to grab a heavier battery.
Here it comes, for better or for worse.
There's always room to go around. What's wrong with the landing car? The landing gear is stellar.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that all
This is gonna
day.
be your new favorite touch and go plane, huh?
All right, so we got Josh. He's putting the a larger battery in there. We're just gonna try. We're experimenting, but hopefully it's gonna help it penetrate a little bit more. Cool thing about this plane is it's at a $199 price point, which is a pretty nice sweet spot.
Seems like a lot of bang for the buck.
So $199 for the plug and play version, meaning that it comes with just the plane and the servos, everything you need to fly except for the receiver. You need to plug a receiver into it that works with your transmitter. Now the bind and fly is $229. That comes with the receiver. If you're a Spectrum guy, if you already have your transmitter, then you can go with the bind and fly at $229. Now one thing I will say at that price point, $199, $229 for a bind and fly or a plug and play airplane, they've come a long way. I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful, from the scale detail of the landing gear to the radial engine. Not only does it look scale, but I kind of feel like it flies scale as well. Wouldn't you say, Josh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually, it's a great plane to fly around scale with.
The paint scheme and also the flight characteristics, it's definitely a nice looking scale flying plane. All right, so see how a little bit more nose weight does in this wind? There we go.
I believe in you.
It's so great. It definitely penetrates a lot better. I'm at 0 throttle right now.
Yeah,
Zero throttle. There's a little bit of throttle. A little bit of torque there, I noticed.
I really like the fact that you can try different batteries. Everyone has a different flying experience they're looking for, a different feel they're looking for. Oftentimes you can adjust that and find that just by adjusting your battery.
Coming in hot.
All right.
There's a good landing gear test.
Okay, I'll get this done.
So that was pretty hard. Like, I definitely botched it, but I also feel like I got a little bit of sink right there all at the same time, and I saw it hit the ground pretty hard, so it'll be curious to see how this landing gear holds up. Is it fine?
It came down basically like this.
And it still rolled it out.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Those shocks are legit. And
like I said, man, I feel like the landing gear technology is on a whole different level these days.
All right, take off. Woo! All right, now that we've actually flown it a couple times, kind of fun.
Yeah, do some crazy stuff. We got Jay Bix on the sticks. You never know what's gonna happen.
You know, even with more nose weight, it flies like a dream upside down now.
Nice.
You can almost like ridge soar with it like this. Look at that. Woo!
I think I saw the pilot fall out.
Yeah, that's why he's not smiling right now. He's like, ah! Big old loops. I like it.
Something about seeing the two wings, like those rounded end wings when you do roll-ups.
I don't know if it'll let me do it too easily with AS3X. I'm gonna take it high and try to spin. Install it, full rudder. That's not bad.
Nice, dude.
Look at that.
Ah, it's gonna hit us. That was awesome. That was legit. That's
cool. Let's try a high wind touch and go. All
right, high wind touch and go, Matt.
If this doesn't test out the landing gear, I don't know what will. Whoa! Yeah. Whoa!
Put it down, dude. You can do it. Right into it.
What just happened?
The wind pushed you right into you, dude.
It's like, oh, I hit a quad. Let's put it in reverse and do it again.
After you guys hit, though, he went around the pole like a ballerina, dude.
That wasn't intentional.
That was not. We were trying to do a nice little touch and go. I was gonna get that.
was awesome.
It's an intimate little, beautiful touch and go.
Oh, I gotta, man, my quad was
plane?
out.
Oh, there.
All in all, this is a great experience. We love taking things out.
Yeah.
Please, if you fly for the first time, don't take it remotely like this.
Yeah. And also, I would say this is maybe intermediate.
Intermediate.
I have a hard time saying this would be good for beginner. It is pretty docile on all the axes, but it is a scale flyer. You have to fly it a little bit more like a real airplane as opposed to a model. if you're a beginner, go with something like a Valiant or something like that, or Apprentice, something like that.
Apprentice is great. Even with the gyros, the AS3X and safe technology, you got to fly the wing on this. You don't want to just fly off the motor and just let it mush through the air, because this doesn't know how to mush. And you're going to overwork the gyros. Eventually, it's going to bite you, especially if you fly in conditions that aren't the best.
Yes. And I'd say, like, overall, like, we were not the best to this landing gear. And it's still holding up nice. Looks real good.
I like it.
I like it too. We want to thank you guys for watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you do so. We do videos like this all the time. We do vlogs, we do general aviation content with real airplanes, we do RC stuff, drones, anything you can imagine.
Yeah, leave a comment below. Let us know what you want to see reviewed next.
See you guys next time. Oh, it's the wrong size battery? We just found out, thanks to Stefan. Apparently, it needs a 3300, which is quite a bit of a difference.
You're gonna need an adapter now though, don't you?
All right, so here's what happened. Stefan printed off the wrong Stearman. Guess what kind of battery this takes?
2200 3 cell.
2200 3 cell.